Yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I wasn't very excited for this one, admittedly, but it exceeded my expectations in that while it's boring and not worth your time, it's definitely watchable. And while I don't love this, there are some decent TV shows ahead, and perhaps the series will improve with the several seasons coming up. The show connects to Thor the Dark World as well as Captain America the Winter Soldier, but we'll talk about those projects soon. For now, let's discuss Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The closest thing we have to any previous adaptations was Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a 1998 TV film and backdoor pilot to a TV series based on S.H.I.E.L.D., starring David Hasselhoff. And for this video, I neglected to watch it. Typically I would, but this is a special case where I couldn't be fucking bothered to do so. It's just so long, and I've heard it's really terrible, and especially since I watched 23 episodes of this boring show, I really couldn't be bothered to do so. The plot is pretty simple. Each episode is a villain of the week style cop drama, with this first season having a minor overarching plot of the group S.H.I.E.L.D, which is attempting to make super soldiers and continuously threatens Coulson's team. Along with that, there's a Hydra uprising in S.H.I.E.L.D and an overarching question of who the clairvoyant is. The other overarching plot is that of Coulson's resurrection after his death on the helicarrier during the Avengers. It's a lot of plot for a TV season. After the success of the Avengers, Disney wanted to branch off into TV, so they let Joss and Jed Whedon create a show called S.H.I.E.L.D, which eventually became Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The show was getting shit ratings, being watched primarily by upscale women, so the show redirected to be more Marvel-based and ended up spawning a whopping 7 seasons. Phil Coulson's the leader of the team, who was revived after his supposed death in the Avengers. His death is shrouded in mystery, and the team hopes to unravel what happened to him. Melinda May is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent known as the Cavalry. She's an ultra-skilled fighter, but ultimately hopes to be more passive. She usually flies Coulson's jet. Grant Ward is the team's main field agent. He's a hothead, but ultimately pretty bland. Eventually it comes out that he's part of Hydra. It feels a little like a late season retcon to me, like the actor didn't want to be in season 2, so they just kind of retconned everything about him. It was weird. Skye is a hacker who becomes the team's lead tech person after uncovering the Centipede conspiracy. Leo Fitz and Jenna Simmons are the team's lead scientists and work as a team healing people and creating new tech occasionally. Michael Peterson, or Deathlock, is an innocent man turned deadly cyborg by the Centipede Project. The Clairvoyant, our main villain of the season, is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who turned to Hydra after being injured during a mission. He has a high clearance level, which allowed him to pull strings and start the Centipede Project while masquerading as an upstanding member of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's a handful of MCU movie stars that show up in this show. Nick Fury appears along with Maria Hill, Sif, and Sitwell. The cameos are small and mostly used to remind us that this show is indeed related to the wider MCU, although Nick Fury shows up twice, which I was kind of surprised about given that they had to pay Samuel Jackson bucks to get him on the show. Season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is watchable, I guess, but like I said, it's nothing really worth watching for anyone that isn't a huge MCU completionist. And since that's the point of this series, I was willing to put in the work to watch this. But would I watch it for fun? No, certainly not. And it's also disappointing because I like Daredevil, and there's so many well-rounded shows in the MCU, especially coming out of the Disney era. Anyhow, the cinematography is mostly bland, as is the music, and the characters are basically just basic archetypes. The action's lame and the show is crazy low budget. Overall, you can skip this one. I really hope this show gets better, as I got 6 seasons to go, but I'm not counting on it at this point. I think the show has some merit, being tied loosely to the MCU, but yeah, I'm never going to come back to this season. It just wasn't worth it. In the next video, we'll be headed back to the movies with Thor the Dark World. It's one that most people consider one of the lower points in the MCU. Will I agree? I guess we'll find out next time.